Today I would like to give you some of my personal experiences with the implementation of cost action. I think much of that has already been said by you, but I'm trying to, not to repeat everything, but I will give it not from a scientific point of view, but more from an administrative point of view. My first experience with cost was in 2008 when I was the grant holder of a cost action where a working group leader was from DTU. So it's Lisbeth Garst-Dugesen. She's now at the University of Copenhagen, so there's a long relationship with DTU actually. Now I'm the vice chair and the grant holder of FastBrack, and in addition my institute at Vienna University of Technology had been acting as vice chair, MC member, STSM manager, grant holder, whatever, in different cost actions. What I would like to talk about today is about application and the initial phase, the bodies, the organization, early stage researchers, and gender, the importance of that, a bit about inclusiveness, targeted countries, the grant holder, and what is the benefit of participation in my opinion. Concerning the application and the initial phase, so from an administrative point of view, it's really unproblematic. So you can't compare the application with an application for a EU-funded project. So it's not in that detail. You do not have to take care of the budget, etc. So the scientific aspects, the networking aspect, and the impact, the possible impact of the cost action is really essential. As I said before, you do not need to apply for a specific budget because it will, after the approval, automatically calculated from the cost association, meaning that you will get approximately 5,000 euros per participating country. So it's not that much, it's about 150,000 euros per year approximately. So some applicants have, from my experience, a wrong expectation. They were expecting hundreds of thousands of euro, up to 1 million euro or even more for a cost action, and that's not the case. So you really get money for reimbursing participants for the participation. You will not get any money for research for your personal costs.
This number is per year or over the whole lifetime?
Or per year, approximately. Yes. So in the first grant period, you will most probably get it based on the number of countries already adopted the MOU, and in the following years, it may also depend on how active you are. So if the cost association sees, okay, this cost action is not really active, they do not organize much events, they do not have this amazing number of STSMs you had, so then they might reduce your budget and increase the budget of more successful cost actions. So it's just a rough estimation. My advice is that you include in the application already a critical mass of potential participants, meaning that you include a list, so you are requested to include a list of potential MC members. So by doing this, you should show, okay, there is really a critical mass in Europe who would be interested in the cost action.
Do they need to confirm that they're interested, or is this just a good guess?
I don't think that they need to confirm, but I'm not sure because cost changed the application procedure last year. Probably they have to say yes in the e-cost system, but I'm not sure. So, but you should contact them. Yeah. You should let them know that you would like to include them in the cost in this cost proposal. Yeah. Also, in case you get approved, those people should apply at their cost national coordinators to become an MC member. And this is not automatically. So in case you are finally approved, you can start. The individual members in the individual countries have to contact their CNC, the cost national coordinators, mostly with funding. They are located at the ministry or the funding agency. But you can find the details on the cost webpage, who is responsible for your country. And then you can apply to become an MC member. In most countries, it's a first-come, first-served basis. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. That means that first who applies get approved. He will become the MC member. So if you have made an arrangement with Jan that he will be the MC member of Denmark, and you are quicker, you have applied first, then you will be the MC member and not Jan. So as soon as you are approved, send out an immediate message to those you have on your list of potential MC members so that they apply at their countries. And as soon as a minimum of 8 countries have adopted the MOU, the first MC meeting will take place. First MC meeting is always in Brussels at the Cost Association, and from my experience, it's really essential that the first MC meeting is very well prepared. So you have to have a clear idea who should be the core group members. So most of the time the proposer is the chair, who should become the vice chair, who should be the working group leaders, there's the SEM manager, the grant holder, mostly located as the chair. So this is also to avoid discussions in the large MC meeting. So it might happen that if nothing is prepared, a lady, a guy stands up and says, I want to become the chair. And there's a lot of discussion, and you should really avoid that. So be prepared. Also the activities for the first grant period, so all the meetings, the training schools, SDSM calls, etc., have already to be planned in advance of so before the first MC meeting. So the MC meeting starts, there's an official welcome from the Cost Association, and one of the first steps is that the chair is elected. And as soon as the chair had been elected, he takes over the meeting, and he has to present something. So everything has to be prepared. Although he has not been the chair, when he comes to the meeting, he has to take over the meeting then. Do you have any questions?
No.
So a well-prepared first MC meeting does not only make a good impression with the science officer.
Yeah. And the group members are from different countries then?
Yeah, sure. You have to take care so that the core group members are from different countries. Gender balance is always also an issue. Probably you should also try to get younger people involved, but those members have to be MC members. Yeah? Okay. Now coming to the different bodies that are included in a cost action. So the management committee is the official decision-making body. There are up to 2 management committee members plus their substitutes per participating country. As we have 36 cost countries, this might be a really large group. And MC members should always note that he actually represents the entire country, not only his own institution. And this management committee is normally too large for really leading the cost action. So from my experience, only the formal decisions are made there. So there is a reporting from the chair, from the core group, what had been done, what is planned to be done, and they just approve it. So it's just more or less a formality. Although it's the official decision-making body, it's more a formality from my experience. And then there is this core group, which in my opinion is the real decision-making body. So they are really leading the action. So as I said before, they need to be members of the management committee. So it's the chair, the vice chair, the working group leaders, the SDSM manager, and probably the grant holder, which is next to the chair. So the core group prepares the outline, the work program of the action, and makes the real decisions, which then have to be approved by the MC. So there are also the working group members as a kind of normal members because they have no decision-making rights, but they are really essential for proceeding with the work within the action. Formally, there can be 2 working group members per working group per country. Cost is really flexible. So some actions think that the participants of the individual meetings, of the training schools, of the SDSMs have to be either MC members or working group members. That's not true. So as soon as a country has adopted the MOU, basically everyone from this country is allowed to participate in the cost action. So it doesn't need to be an MC member or a working group member so that you are allowed, you do not need to be an MC or a working group member, that you're allowed to participate in a meeting, or that you are a trainee at a training school, or that you apply for an SSM.
But that means then that they're not paid. Or there might be.
Yeah, there might be,
Okay.
sure. It depends how much interest is in the cost action, how much budget you have. Concerning the staff effort, from my experience, there is limited staff effort necessary from MC members and working group members without a leading position. However, active contribution in all activities is for sure expected from all official nominated members. Extended staff effort is needed from the core group, especially from the chair. However, see the possibility to contribute to the action, to lead the action, it's on your own how the result is, and the general visibility within the cost action, and probably outreach in the entire scientific community as a conversation. So the organization, quickly. The management committee meetings, except for the first MC meeting, which needs an entire day in Brussels, normally they are just 2 or 3 hours in the course of a working group meeting. So as I said before, mostly presentation of what had been done, what are the future activities. Within BESPRAC, we had the problem that it was not clear at the very beginning what BESPRAC will be for. So COST had a completely different view of what we had and what we finally did. So it happened that not the right persons were the MC members. And if you have an MC meeting scheduled within a meeting, that means that the MC members will for sure get reimbursement. So only small money is left for other participants. To overcome this, we decided to make virtual MC meetings, because it's more or less just MC meeting is just a formality. We had 1.5 hours last time MC meeting. So we made it with GoToMeeting, invited everyone could join in, and made a presentation of 1.5 hours, and that's it. And it was perfectly enough for the cost association. So if you have problems in reimbursing the right persons, etc., always consider of these virtual possibilities. Concerning payment, because you asked that before, for the MC meetings, reimbursement is based on the basis of receipts. You get a lump sum for accommodation of up to 120 euros. So, but if you are organizing a meeting, for example, in Sofia, it will be much more cheaper. So the MC can decide beforehand that they reduce the lump sum for accommodation, for example, to 70 euros, saving money, allowing you to reimburse more participants. That's always possible. And in addition, the local organizer gets a support club for organizing the meeting, for coffee breaks, etc. So the working group meetings are normally 1 to 2 days, and there are various possibilities for the organizations. What I experienced, so I'm sure there are a variety of other possibilities. So I experienced really pure discussion tables for project-related topics. There were a kind of conferences with oral and poster presentations with enough time for joint discussion, or real working groups preparing output on specific topics. You always have limited possibilities for invited speakers. So if you have a kind of conference and there is a very distinguished professor from the States, for example, you are able to invite him. But there is limited funding for this available. For reimbursement, it's the same as for the MC meetings. Training schools, these are normally organized for 3 to 5 days, I would say, probably longer, but normally 1 week. The trainees shall mainly be the early stage researchers. The trainers have to come from within the action or even outside, but the most important issue is that you are not able to pay any trainer fee. So if there is some distinguished professor and say, yeah, but I would like to have a fee for 1,000 euros, you are not able to pay him. So you always have to think about when organizing and proposing a training school, you are not able to pay anyone for that. So you can reimburse his travel cost and accommodation perfectly fine, but no trainer fee. For the training schools, the trainees receive a lump sum of approximately 700 to 900 euros, depending on how long the training school is, where it is for travel and accommodation. So they do not have to present any receipts. They get 900 euros transferred, and they can do with the money whatever they want. The trainers are reimbursed on basis of receipts again. Finally, there are these short-term scientific missions, a minimum of 1 week research stay at another research institution. I think it's possible up to 2 months. I don't know how usual this is. This is a very long research day, but from my experience, 2-3 weeks is really normal. So if you go to another institution, go to this laboratory, do some experiments, you most probably need more than 1 week there. The applicant shall mainly be early-stage researchers. So the Cost Association doesn't see is not in favor that professors are visiting another professor, that the chair is always traveling to other institutions. So I made this experience, and the Cost Association didn't like that, for sure. So it's really mainly for early-stage researchers. And for the SDSM, they also get a lump sum for travel and accommodation, but here the host doesn't get any support grant. So if an institute is hosting a person, he doesn't get any money for that. Organizations. As I said before, the budget is approximately 150,000 euros per year, depending on the number of cost countries having adopted the MOU. And as you also said, this is not that much budget. So from my experience, you're not able to organize more than 2 larger working group meetings per year, including the MC. So no MC meeting separately, because then you do not have any budget left for real working group meetings. One training school with approximately 20 trainees, and 10 to 15 SDSMs. And again, your number of 99 SDSMs is really great. From my experience, the enthusiasm and the creativity for possible cost activities for possible activities within a cost sector are always high. But you always have to remember from the very beginning that you do not get paid for that. So you get only refunded the travel and accommodation costs. What I experienced is that in the first meeting, everyone is very enthusiastic, and we will make this and we will make that, and we will organize a database, and everyone puts in I don't know what. But finally, after the meeting, everyone disappears, goes home, makes his own work, has to do his own work, which he is paid for or she is paid for. And then 1 week before the next meeting, I had to do something. So I would say always consider it that you do not get any funding for that. So, but you can present your research work, which you are nevertheless doing on your daily basis. You can bring this in within the cost section. From my experience, that's perfectly enough.
So, just one question. There's no personnel costs allowed even for the coordinator? No.
It's for the grant holder, we'll manage them. It's just for the grant holder. So, but if you are a working group leader, you really have to do some work, but you will not get funded for them. I have to speed up, right? Briefly concerning early stage researchers and genders, both aspects are really essential for reporting and evaluation. Early stage researcher, maximum 8 years after PhD. Unfortunately, they are most of them not nominated as MC members. It's the professors, and then the young researchers participate in the meetings, and they are often working group members. And from my experience, a critical mass of early stage researcher is really essential for the progress in the action. You also said that. Gender balance should reflect the balance within the respective scientific discipline. So the more women you have, the better you will be evaluated by cost. Sorry for that, but it's the reality. Inclusiveness, targeted countries, these are the list of the countries. There has been a statement that COST will dedicate 50% of its overall budget to activities involving researchers from inclusiveness target countries. For me, it's still unclear how they will really do that and implement and evaluate that. But I would propose that you make efforts in organizing workshops and training schools in those countries, so that you're on the safe side in case there is some evaluation. But I make efforts to go to these countries. only 2 weeks ago, a new possibility was implemented that SDSMs with ITC involvement to encourage their application that 50% prepayment at the start of SDSM is possible. So normally you get only payment after a meeting. You have to pre-finance everything. And to encourage SDSMs with ITC involvement, they get 50% prepayment. Finally, grant holder task. So the grant holder is the administrative hub of a cost action. So she is responsible for the overall administrative support, budget, web page, folder, etc. Concerning the budget, so the grant holder has to take care of all the reimbursements. So for a meeting, you have 70 participants, all of them will get reimbursement. The grant holder has to file everything, has to go through all receipts, whether it's eligible or not, and everyone, I have had the experience that some include something in the system which doesn't, it doesn't conform with the receipts they are uploaded, they had forgotten to upload receipts, etc. So it's sometimes a nightmare. What I would recommend that you activate strong authentication in eCost. It means that you do not have to fill in something on the paper, sign it, send it by postal mail to the grant holder, so everything is within the eCost system. And this really saves time. And also, I don't know whether it's, there are some difficulties at DTU, but in some countries there are internal institutional regulations which restrict transfers to third parties, etc. So it needs weeks to months until a reimbursement can be paid out to a participant. So check this beforehand. The grant holder is usually located with the chair. It's advisable for ease and quicker working together. Although we did brilliant, Jan. They receive maximum 15% overhead. So I would advise that you do not get the grant holder or a chair for financial aspects, because this 15% is approximately 15 to 20,000 euros per year, and the staff effort needed can be really paid from that. And as I said before, the possibilities to implement the cost action according to your own ideas, the visibility, is a kind of compensation for that. Financial issues. Cost had been changing the pre-financing rules in the last 4 years all the time. So normally it was that previously it was that you got 65% pre-financing, then you submitted an intermediate financial report and you got the remaining 35%. It never happened in the last 4 years, so they always had some changing, and a grant holder, it was me, always had to pre-finance something. The last slide. So the future procedure is that you get now 50% pre-financing, another 35% within 6 months or so, and the last payment is 15%, which is your money as grant holder, will only be paid after the end of the grant period. So that means that you have to pre-finance yourself. Currently, I have to pre-finance 35%. That's the last slide. Okay. So the benefits, but I'm repeating everything that was said today, is cost is a perfect possibility to network within Europe and to exchange scientific results. Perfect platform for joint future research projects and publications, and especially for young researchers, perfect for networking, SDSMs, and involvement in the scientific community. That's it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Maxine.